whatever changes I apply to the base table here, for example, the update happens. So I can save a lot of time in Excel to prepare my data in that case and try to establish that using Power Query. Power Query in Excel supports me like that. So I can save my hours of work and convert that into minutes of work in that case. And that's the truth. That's the truth, really. It works on minutes of works in that case. I can clean my data, organize my data, and transform my data properly in this case. Not each containing 1 lakh records, but some files containing 50,000, some files containing 80,000, and 2 or 3 files containing 1 lakh records also. It was not very slow, slightly slow. 15 files and 1 lakh records in 2 of the files, other files containing lesser than that, but all files containing more than 10,000 records. Slightly slow, but then yes, it is a powerful way to apply that. As we learn Power Query more, for example, then I'll tell you the scenario in this case. What happens is, for example, if I work on the data set available here, and I'm in December 23 right now. Then I go to January 23, 24. Then I go to Feb 24. In Feb 24, I load my data here in folder 24, which is January, Jan 24. In Feb 24, I load my data here. I then open blank Excel. I open blank Excel over here. In that, I go to the Excel option to input my data from that particular folder called 2024. I specify that I want a folder file. I don't want a file. I want a folder file. I want a file from a folder. I specify that over here. There's a method to do that. I do some operations here, which normally take me 2 hours, 3 hours in Excel, and I finish that in half an hour in Power Query. That's a reasonable time it should take. We can't convert magic, as they say on the internet sometimes. But yes, 2-3 hours of work can finish in something like half an hour in Power Query. Once I finish that work over here, then come March. As March appears, I load my Feb data over here. I go to same file, which was a blank file earlier, and now contains my Jan 24 file. I go to same file and press a refresh over here. The 2-3 hours job that was done earlier was done in 30 minutes over here. And now finishes in 2 minutes. I then move to April and get my March data here and go there, refresh, another 2 minutes. I move to December. Now it just takes about 5 to 7 minutes, and my total work of 2 hours every time finishes in 5 to 7 minutes with good accuracy in that case, even the data getting added over here. If I realize that my November data was not fine, in Jan 25, I realize my November was not fine. I do corrections over here, come back and refresh over here, another 5 minutes, everything updated. So I can keep my folder separated like that. That is scenario number 1. Scenario number 2. I can pick up one Excel file. I can pick up second Excel file. I can pick up third Excel file and do some VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP sort of work like we did just now in merge queries. Append query, create pivot table, create group by over there, create some headings over there with the new columns in that case, create the calculated columns in that case. That takes about 2 to 3 hours for the first time. Later, when I add some more data week on week, for example, in these files individually, I add some 5,000 records here, 2,000 records here, 1,000 records here. I go back and refresh, it takes only 5 minutes. So to establish this scenario, and the one that we did was this one, the easy one file containing 2 to 3 tables. And we are trying to work with that. That is third scenario. This one I've not discussed with you. That is a different issue altogether. So with this, we save a lot of time. And month on month, I can work on this activity over here. Week on week, I can work on this activity over here. At any small update, I can try to work on this activity, which is basically a day-to-day work for me. And I do it almost every second day or third day, sometimes 3 days in succession. I can do that. I have to do that. And I get my data updated very fast. So Power Query in collaboration with Excel is really a faster tool available there. Whenever you get hands on Power Query, sometime please keep trying that until we have a learning again together, for example. And that's a really good tool available. It'll save a lot of your time. Limitation wise, I've told you that I've tried about 15 files with 2 files containing 1 lakh each. And that was quite a smooth work. It was slightly slow, honestly. That's how it really works. You can kind of take a screenshot when you want to work on this and try to see what are the areas we discussed earlier. And we can, if we meet again sometime, you happen to pursue a learning from here again, for example, we can always set 6 hours like that we did exclusively on Power Query only and see how we can benefit from that easily. It's got many great features, honestly. If you plan to do a dashboard, discard that for the timing, unless that is a prime area, for example. You can first do Power Query. That's really very, very powerful. And do dashboard later. In case dashboard is the primary thing, then it's your choice. You can see what is more important for you. Let's go back and work on our query thereafter. So that's an input that we can find over here, and that works very fast. Now that I've done this part over here, I've told you these 2 parts available there. I have done, for example, data with slices. I have done data with Power Query. That's what I've done right now. I have to now move on to the next part available here, which can guide me on creating the data with one more tool available in Excel. Let's go to that. So as I go to the base data, which I had that day also, and we crossed it over here. Whatever data I had based on that day, for example, I can now create a select all, Control A. First of all, I can open a sheet now. How to open up a sheet? So insert row is basically Alt I R we discussed. Alt I C is insert column. Likewise, Alt I W is insert worksheet. Alt I R is insert row. Alt I C is insert column. Likewise, if I'm here, for example, Alt I W is insert worksheet. Let's do it now. Alt I W is insert worksheet. There we are. Let me match the zoom size. It's 115 here. Let's go here. This is 115 as well. So I'll go back to my table over here. Control A, Control C. That's a select all and Control C. Control A, Control C is what I've pressed over here. If I go to the next sheet, which was here, for example, and paste by pressing Enter or Control V, I can see it's a very tightly placed data, no headers, nothing in that case. There are some errors also in that case. So what do? Control Z. When you want to copy paste the data from the format as table option, for example, got to convert that to paste special values. So formulas are cleared in that case. I'm sure you have a backup also with you to go back to this. In case it is not there, you got the functions available here, which is why we copied the functions over here. Plus, I've got the data set available further in my backup file also, right? So I can really make a selection on the data like this, or convert the data to a flat table. How can I convert the data to a flat table, which is my data table right now, for example? How can I convert that to a flat table like this? Let me tell you. Go to the table design, convert to range. Table design, convert to range. So this table T data will be cleared to range in that case. So click on, this one. Click on convert to range. Okay. It's refreshing the functions which were there. And they now work with the actual data set available there. Select all. When you see a selection for the entire table by pressing Control A, for example, you can press Control dot 4 times to see that your entire table is selected on all the 4 corners. To go to all 4 corners of the selection, because my selection has gone to the big screen and it can't accommodate in one screen, it's gone way down over here to 5,000 rows. I can then, after making a selection with Control A, I can press Control dot 4 times, Control full stop. Control dot 1 goes to right side over here. Control dot 2 goes to bottom right over here. Control dot 3, I'm not pressing 3, I'm saying Control dot 3rd time, goes to bottom left over here. Control dot fourth time, it goes to the top end over here. That is how I can examine that my data is truly selected. Okay, that's how I know my data is truly selected. Control C is the copy. We know that very well. Control C is the copy. This includes my headers also. You will normally open Control Alt V or Alt ES to apply paste special values. But with latest Excel, in case that Excel is not there with you, you might have to still go to Alt ES, V in that case, or Control Alt V, V for values in that case. Otherwise, the new feature in Excel is we can press Control C to copy, then we can press Control Shift V to paste special values, which I'm doing right now. Let me show you once again. This is a formula you can see. I'm pressing Control A, Control C. I'm pressing Control Shift V. There we are. And you can notice that the formula is gone. I'm pressing Control Z now. So I can see the formula again over here. I'm telling you, I can now press, for example, Control C, which I've done already. I can open Control Alt V, open paste special like this, V for values, press Enter. And I can see the formulas are gone. Control S to save the file. So many operations, keep saving the file. Saving the file also releases the memory sometimes when it finds the load is quite high. That's what we can find over here. My data is now saved and my formulas are cleared. The option that I've told you right now is copy, paste special values, this Control C and Control Alt V, V for values. Otherwise, we can try Control C and then Control Shift V for paste special values. That's one of the latest in Excel. And then I can say Control A, Control C now. Let me tell you something more. When I go to the data set here, for example, I'm not going to paste it over here. Enter is to paste. Control V is to paste. Likewise, Enter is to paste. So either Control V or Enter, choice is yours. When you press that over here, for example, you can see it's quite tightly placed, isn't it? And this time you can't see hash values. I can see my complete clean data available there. But I don't like the way it is pasted. I really have to play tennis across over here, go there, find the data here, check the column width here, come back and set the column width here, and it's not so accurate because there are 10 columns to be set with the column width again. So I don't like the idea. Control Z. How can I do that better in that case? Once you make a selection for a table, for example, from a particular file, the sheet to sheet copy or the file to file copy, this method can be a good method to copy the data exactly in the same format, same width available there. Yes. How do we do that? I've done my selection here. After the selection, I've pressed my Control C over here. I now go to the new sheet. Let's do it. So in the entire thing, you've seen the operations I've done over here are clear the data table from the table, convert that to the range. Because it is cleared, I can't show you again. So convert that to the range. After that, I selected all the table, pressed Control C to copy, and then I pressed Control Shift V to paste special values so that my formulas are gone. I've got the support of formulas here in any case.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
So I can pick up the file. If I now do a Control A, Control C, for example, over here, and try to copy paste my exact table across in this file or the other file, no problem. I can go to that location where I have to paste my data, beginning of the sheet, and then be careful. Let's open Control Alt V. Please be careful. Let's open Control Alt V now. Control Alt V. W for column width. I'm saying W for column width, or you can click this also. Either W for column width, because underscore characters are called hotkeys in the Windows. Shortcut keys Control C, Control S. That is a shortcut key. But hotkeys are the underscore keys in the windows. In this case, V for values is hotkey. In this case, W is a hotkey for column width. So press W. I can see that over here. Now press enter 2 times. 1, 2. Exactly same size table. 100% same size table, no issues. Be sure that before doing this action, clear the formulas from there. Exactly same size table. So I don't have to play tennis across this sheet and that sheet, keep hopping from here to there, find out the column width over there, come back and set the column width over here, and that rules is not very accurate. Okay. So what we can do is once again, for example, Control Z, I got this data available here, and I go here. It's a Control C already. I can see copy is still there. I can see my selection over there. So we can see some moving selection. Moving selection is a dashes over here, indicating the selection is on. I go to my destination over here like this. Go home, that is Control home like that to beginning of the sheet in that case. Control A, Control C. By the time I travel to that location, the cancel got applied. So I go to that once again. Open page special. W for column width. Press enter 2 times. Why 2 times? The first enter is a width. Look at this. The first enter is a width. That was column width. And second enter is a paste. Because I mentioned to you earlier, Control C is a copy, Control V is a paste, enter also is a paste. Enter also is a paste. Second enter now, and there we are. I've got this over here. Keep renaming the sheets every time so there are no mistakes. So I've got my raw data available over here. That's what I can say in this case. With this, I'll be starting to work with my pivot table, for example, and work with that subsequently. But right now, I want to have the subtotal. I want to have a subtotal over here, right? Before I convert that to a subtotal, let me just try to do one more thing over here. Create a copy again, for example, over here. Hold the Control key, drag it like that, and keep a copy here. Release the click first, then the Control key, get the copy here, and then drag it again to the left side as the second copy. I'll go there later. I work here first. So please return back to this sheet over here. So we had masters earlier. Then we had the data here. And subsequently, we got the slicers. That was the base data for the query. This was the output data that we created over here. This was the output data we created over here. That's the base data. Output over here. Base here. Output here. And the slicers here. That was the base with the output available there like these. We cleared this just now and got the copy over here. Let's go here. Get the copy here. Subtotals, for example. Let's try subtotals, for example, over here. The option is data subtotal here. If you can't find that option, you can find it like this. This outline option is there. Subtotal is inside that. You can find that inside that. Okay. Let's go to subtotal. But before we go there, for example, I have to sort the data on one particular column. I need to sort the data on one particular column. So let's go to customer here. Let's go to customer here and sort the column. What is this particular set available here? I can use it right now. So for example, if my ribbon band is hidden over here, I can go to a cell. I guess I've mentioned that earlier. If not, I'll revise it once again. These features do not require entire table selection for use. Sort, filter, subtotal, pivot, chart, data table. We've done the data table. We're doing sort right now. And filter also we've seen earlier. Subtotal we're doing right now. We'll do sort right now and subtotal right now. And pivot and chart after this. Okay. So these features don't require entire table selection for the working for that matter. If I go here, for example, like this, I can apply subtotal directly in this case. And sort also. So I go here, for example, and try to click on the customer cell. One cell is okay. I'll now sort my data on customer cell. Look at this now. Instant sorting like this, and that's sorted. Instant sorting on the region like this, and that's sorted. Instant sorting on the dealer like this, and that's sorted over here. How am I able to do that? How do I do that? Let me tell you. All I've done is I've gone to the data tab over here. Right click on A to Z, add to access toolbar. Right click on Z to A, add to access toolbar. Home tab, right click on left, center, right, and I get all of these over here. Leaving apart the Copilot, I've got all of these over here. Then the border, then the font and the size and so on, all these features. When I go to a specific cell, for example, over here, let me show that more clearly to you. Go to masters. Let's go here. Small packs here, small packs here, units here, units here. Large here, large here. So if I now press Alt key here, for example, having transferred that here, if you've not transferred that so far, you can do it now. You'll see that this appears over here. So please go to the data tab, right click on the A to Z, add to access toolbar. This goes right over here, somewhere here. Right click on this also, please try. This goes right over here, please try. And once it goes over here, for example, I can go to a single cell without selecting entire table. I can choose a single cell only and then try Alt and 1. In my case, it is 1. In your case, it would be 4, 5, or 6, something like that over here. Because I've transferred my access toolbar here, that's why you can't see it over here. But the number will depend upon what are the options you have before that, for example. You also might be having like Control Z, Control Y, that is undo and redo over there. You might also see like autosave over there. Those options might be there. So I've cleared these options over there like that. Right click and delete, remove. Right click and remove. I've done this from there over there. Because of which the sort has shifted from there to the left side over here like this. So when I go to a cell over here, for example, I can press Alt key and release it immediately. I can press Alt key and release it immediately like this, Alt and release, and I can see the number over here. That's 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So I'll just press 1 now and see what happens. It sorts my data instantly over here, this one, without selecting entire table. Alt 1 and the sorting is done. If I go here, Alt 1 and the sorting is another twice. I want the reverse for that matter to appear like that. What do I do in that case? For the reverse sort, I can try the second option here, and that's Alt 2 in my case. Alt and then 2. It's 1 by 1. It's not together, it's 1 by 1. Alt and then 2, we can find that over here. Clear? That's how sorting can work fairly fast, so I don't have to select the entire table to apply sort in this case. I don't have to select the entire table to apply filter. I can simply go to a cell, Control-Shift-L, filters applied. That's how we can do. Filter can be applied. In this case, it's a table, so I have to go here and then apply the filter from here or from here, something like this. Apply filters and work with that. Therefore, when I come here, for example, I can go to the customer and try to sort on the customer. Alternatively, I can also use the mouse key to go here and click on that directly, and that also works fine. I've got my data customer-wise over here. I can now try to go to the Control F1 to display the data label. Label in this case, data table, subtotal. Remember, I must choose my customer column here because I sorted on this just now. Because I sorted on that just now over here. So I must apply customer column over here. Sum is what I want in this case. On the price or the quantity, I can choose quantity in that case, for example. Just the quantity or the price or the value. Suppose I take quantity. It doesn't make much sense with the quantity right now. But suppose I take that over here. And okay, in that case, what do I get? I get a quick small summary for the data set here. And if I collapse it with 1, I get the shortcut like that. And I go top like that. I can see the report here. 2, that's my report here. Because it contains a blank also, it shows me blank in this case. So I can always go to 3. Open that again. After every change in the customer, I can find the total here. So I can find the total here. That's a Dairy Bazaar total. That's a Saturday sale total. And that summary is created very fast in this case. I'm zooming it out, for example, and you can see the totals over here. If I see number 2 here, for example, I can see this list like that. That's what it shows. I can go expand one of the sections over here and collapse it again. Next section, collapse it again. It shows like that. Go back to the data table. Data tab, subtotal, remove all, and we get the same table again. We get the same table again the way we saw that earlier. That extra row is there. Delete that. That's gone. Control minus and delete that. That's a subtotal we can create like that. For short tables, it's quite an interesting part available there. I can see my quick small table available like that. Let me show a quick example. That's a small table available here, for example. As I work on this, I can sort on this, for example, like that. Apply subtotal now. So I need to apply it on area. Area, sum, okay. I can see that that is a summary in this case. A quick short summary like that. Expand on that. Collapse it. And collapse it. And expand this further. Have a summary available like that. Or have a short summary like that. Expand, collapse like that. And I can see my data for south only in this case. So short tables are very easy for the subtotal available there. But some people work on big tables also, applying like this, for example, over here. So you can apply like this also for the subtotal. And I can see my summary here, for example, go here, control down arrow, it stops at the first summary. The one here, for example, okay, it's open table right now. So I can go to the data and the subtotal over here, apply on customer, okay, control down arrow, it stops over here, and that's a live total available there. If I make a change here, for example, 400, for example, it changes live over here, and the bottom end also changes live in that case. This grand total also changes live. If I try this here, 550, for example, there's 300 plus. That's a chain that we can find over there. It's a live one. It's a live one that we can find over here. So subtotals are generally made on the shorter reports, shorter data available. And that's the first report, that is an MS report that you can create in Excel. That's the first simple MS report you can create in Excel in that case. Subtotal is the function, is a feature available here, data table, and the subtotal here to give you that freedom available on the table available in that case. That's how we can work with. Normally in the short reports only, not as short as I showed you earlier also. It's like 10 records only, that doesn't make sense. But then some 1,000 records, 3,000 records, we can always work with that table and get a quick summary available there. Instant part is the quick summary like that. And I can see that over here. Expand anytime for that matter and see the data here. That's what I can see. All the data set available there. You can keep a count also if you want. You can keep a count also over there, and the count can work fairly fine. So in case there's a doubt somewhere, please tell me. In case we're good to go, then also please tell me. You can go further to the next part available here. That's pivot source, for example. We'll work on the pivot source right now. So let me know if there's a doubt somewhere. Let me know if I can repeat some step right now. We have enough time available. And we'll see fantastic reports coming our way hereafter with the pivots and the charts our way. Any problem, please tell me. Please guide me. If there's a doubt somewhere, I can guide you again.
In my data tab, I don't see the bottom half of the part of the toolbar where you're able to sort. I'm able to see only the top part. I'm not sure.
You might be having somewhere here. This is the one you can see here above the ribbon. Can you see that over here?
I don't see it on the top either. That's I think
it would be there. They would be there.
Okay.
Your version is what, 2016? You said that day.
I think it's 2304.
2304. It should be there after 2007. It's there. It's very much. Can you go there to data tab and try this in this case? Right click and then add this over here.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yep, I think it's the ribbon, right? Yeah, I can manually add it now. Yeah.
Yeah, you can right click here and add it over here. This goes over here.
Yep, I'm able to see it now. Thank you.
Good, good. And that also goes over here. Now, suppose your number for sort is 5 or 6, for example. We've got to go to the cell over here, press the Alt key and release it. Press the Alt key and release it over here. Press Alt and release it now. And then see the number over here that is meant for sort, either 4, 5, or 6. Just press the number without Alt. You just got to press the number without Alt. I'm pressing 1 in my case because 1 is a sort in my case. So I'll press 1 here, and that sorts my data on that table. Entire table is getting sorted, yes. Now going to the pivot table, if I try this over here, pivot source, for example. So we had so many sheets yesterday, 3, 4 sheets, and now we got so many sheets available here. Pivot source, for example, let me give you some input in this case also. These are the major tools of MIS in Excel. One is the subtotal. Other is the pivot table. And the other is charts over here. In the pivot table, we go to these sections over here. These are the
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
kinds of reports that we create. Then we got a cross tab, and then we got the hierarchy. In the charts, we got something like column chart. We got something called bar graphs or bar chart. And then we got the categories of line and the pie. Then some advancement like scatter, then tree map, then sunburst, and so on. So the important part here is when I try to create a summary, for example, it goes to create a summary first by default in pivot table. I can then create a cross tab, then the hierarchy in this case, and the impact of this goes to my charts also. So let's see that practically now. And the next balance time that is available here. It's only for pivots and charts and detailed reports we cover now. Okay, let's see that, including conditional formatting also. Let's go. So as we go here, we go to the option called Insert Pivot Table from Table Range. So this icon, if you see, Pivot Table from Table Range is the same icon that we see here from Table Range. Don't be confused with that. Insert Pivot Table is the option and to try. There we are. Insert Pivot Table. Let's do it now. In case you're stuck somewhere and you have not been able to follow me, believing that I might be slightly fast, or I try to keep the pace with you and try to duplicate my efforts again, yet sometimes it happens that we can't really copy somebody who's trying to work on the other side. I understand that very well. And I do sit in your shoes also sometimes when I'm on the other side. But then you can do at least one thing now. Pick up the entire table, copy that onto the new sheet without the formulas. Even if it doesn't contain these columns here, doesn't matter. It should be having these columns at least. We did that. So copy the entire table onto the new sheet or the new file for that matter, preferably a new sheet. So it's the same file always. After you copy that to a new sheet, make sure that there's no formulas over there. So the load is lesser in my data. The load is lesser in my data. We can make lean Excel files. I believe in making lean files, lean PowerPoint files also. I'm just trying to tell you that I have or not shared with you that PowerPoint files can be very, very, very small PowerPoint files. It's Excel, so I'm just not sure if I share that with you or not. If I make a PowerPoint file, for example, about 20, 30 slides, for example, then the size of my PowerPoint file goes to only 5 MB. Up to 40 slides, and 35 slides containing pictures, high-density pictures. The PowerPoint slide size, the file size, in my case is not 5 MB. I got 50 slides, it is not 5 MB. I got 100 slides, it is not 10 MB. Let me show you. We'll not see that details right now, but I will show you something important over here. So my Power BI PowerPoint file, for example, contains 163 slides over here. 163 slides over here, and this contains quite high density pictures over here. That's a shape. That's not a picture. That's a picture. What is the size of the files, for example? These are pictures, for example. Annotations over here. Going further, for example, all pictures, all annotations over here. Quite well explained and detailed explained over here. So many annotations and so many symbols over here. And that's a huge file. That's a huge file containing all the whereabouts of this. Also indicating what should be the settings available in Power BI to start the work, for example. So work with settings also, so that you know the settings very well and what to look for in the settings. And then lots of details over here and quite high density pictures. This contains 163 slides over here. That should easily go to 50-60 MB. That should easily go to 50-60 MB. But my PowerPoint file is so small, so lean. Look at this file, info, and that's only 14 MB. Can you imagine? 14 MB only. So I can transform my file in 3 pieces in case the Gmail or the mail system does not allow 5 MB. It does not allow more than 5 MB. I can just piece that out into 3 files and send the file across. 163 slides, let's say 150 slides, and not even 15 MB. So each 50 slides is like 5 MB, roughly. So we make lean files available there. That's how I can say that when you work on this, for example, when you copy the data for PowerPoint, for pivot table, for example, then try to remove the formulas and keep it as lean as possible, keep it as thin as possible. So let's go here, insert, pivot table, click on that right away. And I mentioned earlier to you, I'll remind that again, once again over here, that these features don't require table selection. I tried subtotal, I tried sort, I tried filter with you. I'm not trying the pivot table. I've tried data table with you already. We'll try pivot and chart now. Pivot now and chart after the break. And we'll have the break around 45 India time, 20:45. So let's go there. We are here, for example, in this case, let's go to pivot source and try this in this case. We go to the option over here and say insert pivot table, single cell selected in this case, insert pivot table here. And new sheet in that case. And that table is taken automatically. You can see that all 5705 records taken. One is for the header. Click OK. That's what we can find. And now here, I must tell you how to divide the data. That's a pivot table introduction right now. I'll assume that we do not know detailed pivot table. I'll start from beginning, like a beginner. We are supposed to identify the group headings over here. These are the group headings over here. The ones that repeat in this case. They go to the sections over here, filters, columns, and rows. The group headings go here. And the value settings, which are, for example, numeric values, they go here. When I work with the data I mentioned earlier also to you, we got to create a summary table. Summary for the pivot table. We got to create a cross tab. We got to create a hierarchy. A summary is created like this. A cross tab is created like this. Hierarchy is created like this. And we'll see the examples. If you understand the base of the pivot table, you can communicate very easily. Suppose you went to the management and they asked you to prepare a report, for example, or you are the management and you want a report to be prepared, for example, it's basically the requirement that I filter out to my MIS executive. What is the report I want? The terminology should be, I want a summary report containing 1, 2, 3. I want a cross-tab report containing 1, 2, 3. I want a hierarchy containing 1, 2. I can always explain these columns and say I want a cross-tab, I want a summary, I want a hierarchy. In case they don't know about that feature, for example, they might tell you, I want one column here, I want one row here, I want a value here, and I want one more column here. That means they want a combo of hierarchy plus cross-tab. It's easy to communicate like that. Copilot understands the same language. AI understands the same language. It might come back and say sometimes, for example, that my language is not clear. I don't understand what is hierarchy. But next step, you might find that it will work on that. It will work on that, for example. Okay. So to go for the Copilot might be an effort right now. But without the Copilot, we make very smart reports in Excel. We'll see that example right now and then go for manual reports after this. So let me show you the smart option in Excel. We got to create the summary like that, which is group and a number over here. Cross-tab like that, which is a group here and a group here and a number over here. Hierarchy like that, which is a group here and a group over here. That's a hierarchy. So this one is a summary. This one is a cross-tab. This one is a hierarchy. We'll see the practicals shortly. I'm going to create the reports directly from one of the best tools in Excel to create the pivot table. That is here, pivot source here, home tab here. No Copilot, just go to analyze data. No Copilot, just go to analyze data right now. Click on that right now with a single cell selected over here. It is analyzing the data and see how fast it has done 5,000 records because I didn't have formulas. My data is raw. With the formula, it has to refresh the formula. Because it has to refresh the formula, it will remember the formula. And to remember the formula, it will keep that in the memory of analyzed data. So when I make a change here, the update should happen automatically and it should show me immediately. It's created so many of these over here. Can you see that? I can create an insert summary here. I can tell it, for example, create a pie chart for region with quantity. There it is. Because I don't have formulas, it's responding so fast. Had they made formula, it could be slightly slow, a second or so. A second or so could be slightly slow, that would not be very slow, in fact, but still it is faster over here. And if I try that here, for example, to have my any outliers in my data, it's got so many outliers in my data. What are outliers? The values that are away from the normal, the values that are away from the average. And we've got these outliers available there. I can pick up any of that in that case. For customer, shop 365, quantity 7. Quantity has 7 outliers. For product, WRO, this is a RO water company. It's a use case for RO water company. I mentioned that. I insert that over here. It goes over here and creates a pivot for me immediately. And that is what I got from the analyze data option over here. It's not appearing here because it's not raw data. If I go here again, for example, it's a raw data here. It will not create analyze over here. That's what it got me. So that's the sheet I got over here. That's my sheet. And sheet 8 goes to the right side. I'm doing a control click here to go to the right side like that. And that's the outlier it's shown to me right over here on the dates. Control click left sheet and I go here. That's what I see this, and that's what I create over here. So the analysis of the data is available to me right over here. I can also command to give me the analysis of the data. That is purely without Copilot. And the suggestions are given over here. Show total price by date. Price for each customer. So let's see that. It's each customer and so on and so forth. There's so many other options available. Month-wise line chart. It's not got this done. I have to specify what do I want for that pattern. Month-wise line chart on quantity maybe. So I get the distinct counter variable. It's not able to do that once, for example. I can spell out in a different way, for example. So I have to learn the way it understands and so on and so forth.